To make the bucket that I'll grow the fodder in, I need a bucket. This is a cheap $1 bucket, and a drill with a drill bit. It's about 2 mil. Don't want it too big. I don't want the grain to fall through the holes. So I just decide how to drill the holes. You can do any pattern you want. Doesn't really even matter as long as it doesn't weaken the structure of the bucket. Normally I just start with one here and just drill around. You don't want to push too hard or you might crack the bucket. It's cheap, so it's weak. It's hard to drill while filming. Okay, you get the idea. Well, I'll drill the holes and I'll show you what I finish with. Okay, so I finished drilling the holes in this bucket. Just for no reason at all, I used a hexagonal design. I like to stop drilling no lower than here. So as you can see, they're not very close together. Just far enough apart to keep the strength of the bucket and make sure the water comes out. When you are drilling the holes, don't push too hardly or too hard, because you might actually crack the bucket, which I have done before. So I'm adding a container of grain to each bucket. Doesn't have to be exact. We'll just, because I messed it up before, but that's okay. So the bucket just has the grain in it. Pour in enough water to cover the grain. Now that the grain's in the bucket, I just add enough water to cover the grain. Should do it. And I'll just put it in a storage spot. Here is the fodder, the grain, after one day of soaking. So day one. So the process for draining this is quite simple. I have the bucket with the holes in it, which is where the fodder will grow, and I just pour the fodder into it. Preferably not spilling any. It's hard to do it while holding a camera. So there's none left in there. It's all in here. All the grain is swollen up a little bit with all the moisture it's taken in. It's ready to start sprouting. Day two. This is the grain that have been soaking in water, and they've spent one whole day in that, and now one whole day outside water. Just give them a little bit of mix, and then just leave it. As long as it's moist, it shouldn't be a problem with that. These grains now are 3 days old. You might be able to make out there the sprout from each of the grains. That's what we're hoping to achieve here. They'll sprout and they'll be able to provide more nutrients to the animals. These are a little drier than they should be, this is the stage where I would like to add a bit more water to them. Now, this system is a lot easier than the previous system I had. As the buckets already have holes in them, the water will drain out automatically. So all you need to do is add the water, get it around a little bit, turn it off, and let it all drain out through the holes. And that's fine. Should be ready to eat in a day or two. Here I have a couple of buckets that are at day 4. If you can see the fodder there, it's really got a lot of growth on it. Also some shoots, if you can look closely. A couple of them have some shoots that have grown out. Now at day 4, the fodder, this one has actually been mixed up. This one I haven't mixed yet. It's actually sort of like a solid, almost a solid block. All the fodder has grown into each other. At this stage it's really great food for chickens and other birds, but you might like to actually leave it for a few more days and you'll get a lot more shoots coming out of it, and that would be really good for rabbits or other livestock. Here's a close-up of the fodder at day 4. It's really great amount of growth in that. This is highly nutritious for animals. All the nutrients are being released and more available to the animal. Well, I emptied this bucket that is at day 4, and from that bucket I got 3 and a bit containers, maybe around 3 containers of food. So I started with one of these, and after 4 days I've got the equivalent of 3, and they're a lot more higher in nutrients, a lot more healthier for the animals. Okay, so this bucket has now been used, and I'm ready to add the contents of the soak bucket to this bucket to drain. Now, it's important that this is rinsed out properly, at least even just a cursory rinse, because you don't want a build-up of fungus or any other stuff we don't want on our fodder. So rinse this out, and then once it's rinsed, I'll pour that into here. Okay, so these are some of my roosters out of my chicken tractor. I'm going to feed them this this fodder, just so you can see how much they enjoy it. Yeah, they're really having a great time eating that.